Tulix is a well-known company for providing OTT services, and we have a number of installations, and each installation has a number of channels. We have probably 1,500 channels going through our data center here in Atlanta, and all those channels are being processed. So the workflow is, on one hand, simple because we've done it many times, and this is what we have. On the other hand, it's pretty complicated, and then we all constantly trying to optimize to make it better, and better from the point of view of utilizing different software, different configuration and design. But the workflow, it's kind of simple that we have so-called ingest, number of ingest servers, multi-protocol ingest servers, because we're accepting multiple protocols. To name a few, it will be SRT protocol, it will be RTMP, it will be MPEG-TS over HTTP, and so on. And we're accepting them all, including those ones which are encoded with multiple codecs. And so we're talking about MPEG-2, we're talking about H.264, H.265. So the number of ingest servers can handle them all, and they don't do anything else except just grabbing those signals. Then we have a next layer actually of servers which are doing processing. And what means processing? We're standardizing at this point with H.264 AAC. Obviously, we can do any other protocol, but at this point, this is what our standard is. Unless we're implementing some custom system, but they're usually just a couple of channels for OTT. Then we're doing HEVC, 4K HDR, and so on, where HEVC or H.265 is required. But otherwise, again, our standard is H.264 AEC, which it's a number of servers, and this is the most resource-hungry kind of number of installations. Recently, I'm talking about 2 or 3 years ago, we added GPU-based processing, and the latest software which we're actually using, it could utilize almost 100% of the server. So we just did testing couple weeks ago, and on the computer where we have a CPU, where we have a so-called quick sync or GPU, Intel-based GPU, and we have NVIDIA-based GPU, we can encode files on each of those components. So we can encode files separately on CPU, separately on QuickSync, and separately on NVIDIA card, all within the same system, which we're trying to get the most optimal, the most efficient way of utilizing resources. Then usually it goes to our DVR system. Most of our channels are being DVR'd. DVR is so-called catch-up DVRs. There are multiple names for doing that. Also, we're recording last between 3 to 7 days of video recording for later on display to the end users. Then we're doing encryption. And the next step is we have 2 core, that I'm going to talk later on about, that maybe we have a 2 core so-called origin servers for live stream, and we have the same setup for our VOD and DVR content, where all the content goes to those 2 redundant systems, and then they're going out to the internet, to our multiple CDNs. And at the end of that workflow, it's applications or web browsers, which are actually, displaying the content to the end users. Thank you. This actually it's a workflow.